And so every now and again, look, we just need a little bit of motivation. And I've had a few of my clients struggle over the last couple of weeks with being sick. I'm up to 7 now. I've counted 7 who have been sick, and I know that that is a real struggle. So it seems to be over the last fortnight or so, a few challenges that are popping up. And what I've really noticed is that it really does play havoc on your mindset, right? When you really are setting yourself up for on this journey to get that ideal body, to get to an excellent place of health, to get to optimal health, you know, when you feel deflated, it really can be a battle to get back up on that horse and just keep going. And so I really wanted to make sure that if you were falling into that place, that you were able to get some of your mojo back from this week's flavor of motivation. Look, I know that for most of you, when you start off on your health journey, you start off with a hiss and a roar, and and it's very exciting, and enthusiasm is high, and you're excited about the future, and you're excited about what that may look like and what that may hold for you, and how good you'll feel, and how everything's going to be so much easier when you're lighter and healthier and have more energy and so forth. And that is that's awesome, and it's exciting. If by now you will have probably realized that it is a marathon, it's not a sprint, and so enthusiasm does wear off, but for some of you, that may not be the case, where you are starting off with enthusiasm being really high. For some of you, it actually may be a daunting journey, where you are looking at the goal ahead, and it just feels really unachievable, or it feels really big. And where do you even start? And look, you've started so many times before and failed, so how is this time going to be any different? And so I really want to encourage you today. I really want you to listen to the message today and really let it go in one ear, and mix up a little bit around in your brain rather than going in and out, because I've been there. I've been in both places. I've started off with hiss and roars and super high on enthusiasm, but then there have also been times where it just looks so daunting, where the hill looks so big to climb. And so I really want to encourage you today. One of the things that I really had to learn on my journey, because some of you may have a lot more weight to lose than I did, but some of you may have even have a lot less weight to lose than I did. Maybe you were just struggling with those last 5 kilos, but I tell you right now, the thing that you need to understand about success is that it starts out as little success upon little success upon little success that turns into big success. Okay, sometimes when we look at the hill that we have to climb and what we have to achieve, it just looks so huge. But just like actions turning into habits, it really just starts off as being things that need to be happening daily, and they're usually just small things. They're small things that, when they accumulate over time, turn into big things. All right, when you try and look at the things that you need to change, and you try and change them all at one time, that can be really daunting and really overwhelming. And in reality, success by nature doesn't work that way. So instead of trying to create a whole new system for success, just follow what works. Just take one step at a time, and just learn to do that one thing at a time consistently. When it comes to success, especially in this area of your life, it really is about learning to stay with your commitment long enough for those things to become habits. Okay, you've got to learn to stay with your commitment long enough for those actions to become habitual. Second thing is that when people start out on their journey, what I have seen and what I have personally experienced is that as soon as resistance starts to pop up, that you feel like that's a fail. All right, so in your mind, when you think that that next week is my week to start, or maybe this week was your week to start, or maybe you've already been on the journey for some time now, and it feels like you've come up against a little resistance. And maybe it hasn't even been a particular challenge that you've come up against, but maybe enthusiasm has worn off and you're just feeling a little bit low and feeling really flat and thinking, far out, I just really don't feel like it today, or I really haven't felt like it this last week. And so, when you don't feel like it, it makes it real difficult to make those positive decisions, to continue making those positive decisions. And so as soon as you come up against this kind of resistance, you think that, oh, well, it's just not meant to be, or look, it's just much easier, or look, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable now. And so you start making all these justifications. Well, I remember when I very first started to look down the road of actually eating healthy. For the longest time, I was really focusing on just keeping my calories low rather than actually looking at the quality of the foods that I needed to eat. And then I started to learn, especially as I started to study in this area, I started to learn that it was actually about eating good food. But I hated the taste of vegetables. I did. I certainly hated the bitter taste that came from vegetables. And with my body type, my liver was so loaded. Vegetables were extremely important for me to get a breakthrough in this area. And that was a real point of resistance for me. And so I thought that because vegetables tasted bitter, especially broccoli, because it tasted bitter, if I overcooked it, then I couldn't eat it. Or if we didn't have any in the fridge, then I couldn't eat it. And that was quite a common point of failure for me. Another one that was quite common is that I used to print out my exercise programs. I hated going to the gym. I hated working out. So I used to make lists of things that I would do so that when I would go to the gym, I would only have to do this and then I would be done. And if I forgot that list, if I ever left it on the kitchen table, then then it just wasn't meant to be. I wasn't supposed to exercise this day. Today was supposed to be a rest day type of thing. And so that was quite a common resistance that would constantly rear its head. We used to walk up this track in Christchurch. It was called the Rapaki track, and it's a really, really steep hill, and it's a solid climb for a lot of the way. And many times I would get up on that track with Nick, and we'd walk up. Well, I'd be walking up, he'd be running up, and my legs would be tired, and I would think, well, on the walk up that hill, well, my legs just are too tired today. Look, today's a rest day. There would be lots of opportunity, lots of time for the way that I was feeling to be a resistance in itself. Okay, so for there to be no particular challenge, but just the way that I was feeling to be a resistance in itself. And one of the things that I really had to come to terms with is that that's just the way that it is sometimes. All right, that's just the way that it is sometimes. Being able to follow through with your commitment, regardless of the way that you feel, really is a sign of emotional maturity. And the reason why I say it like that is because comfort was something that was really high on my values. Comfort is probably still something that is high on my values. And, that may seem like a funny thing to say because everyone likes comfort, but I really had become accustomed to comfort. All right. And so getting uncomfortable was a very foreign concept to me. But that was something that I really had to learn to be okay with, that being uncomfortable was a part of the process, and it was something that I needed to learn to push through. It was something that I had gotten constant feedback in other areas of my life and with my work. I excelled in my work. When I was employed, I really excelled in that area, and it was an area that I would get feedback in. And 2 occasions I got feedback where I needed to learn to push through to get me to that next level, but it was uncomfortable. All right, so it's funny in this area of your life. If you really want to be successful, you've got to learn to identify the areas that you need to push through. And I'm telling you that one of them will be learning to do the things that you need to do regardless of the way that you feel. All right, you've really got to learn to discipline your mind to stay with your commitment long enough for those actions to become habits. All right, discipline your mind to stay with your commitment long enough for those actions to become habits. So there are really 3 things that I want to finish off with today to have you think about. And they will really help set your mind up in order to move forward and to kind of get into the right mindset to be viewing your journey. The first one is to revise your expectations, right? If you are expecting that the road is going to be a straight one, then it's an unrealistic expectation. All right, that this is life. So when you're on your health journey, you're going to be coming up against things that are just a part of life, like getting sick or going out, occasions popping up. You're never really going to get a straight 12 weeks or a straight 6 months or however long your journey is going to take in order for you to cruise through without coming up against any kind of resistance. So revise those expectations. There's no perfect time. There never is going to be. So just go with it. The second one is carve out some time. All right, make some time to do the things that you know you need to do. Schedule it like a diary. All right, schedule those things into your day like you would other important things. All right, and if you are someone that doesn't keep a diary, maybe that's something that you need to start doing, which is keeping a diary. The third one is expect resistance. Okay, expect it because it's going to come up. It's normal. You've really got to learn to push through. Perhaps it's an area of your life where you need to learn to discipline, where you really need to have a breakthrough on where you're at with your emotional maturity. Learning to do things when you don't feel like it is a pretty outstanding breakthrough, and when you have that, you'll find that you'll feel good in other areas of your life also, and people will look up to you. You'll be surprised at just having a breakthrough in this area. People will look up to you because it's an area of life that many of us struggle with, that everyone struggles with at some point or another. All right, so that's the message for today, guys. I really hope that you got what you needed from that. Tomorrow we're going to continue on with the week for motivation. So join us at 8 o'clock New Zealand time, 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And look, if you are getting value from this and you think that someone that you know or maybe your followers on Periscope are going to get something out of this, then you can share this Periscope. And the way that you do that is by swiping up or swiping to the right of the screen. And that's going to give you the opportunity to either share this message to your other Periscope followers or give you the opportunity to share it on Facebook or another social media platform. So thanks for your hearts today, guys, and I really want to encourage you on your journey ahead. Join us tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. If you've got any questions or anything you want to run by me, go onto my website, generationhealth.co.nz. That's generationhealth.co.nz. Have a fantastic morning.